can £300 per month get you on a PCP finance? £300 per month is probably one of our most common budgets when it comes to buying a new car.
Having a financed car is one of the biggest reasons why people in the UK are struggling financially.
How is everyone affording these nice cars? How do you all drive Mercedes, BMWs, Audis? Like, are those cars not expensive?
Car payments in 2025 are out of control. Some people literally pay more for their car payments than they do the average rent. Like, it's crazy. With hidden costs like car insurance, road tax, and hidden finance deals. And on top of that, the crazy cost of living crisis we're in right now in the UK and basically worldwide anyway, the average person is drowning in debt. Today I'm reacting to some of the worst car payment stories I could find on TikTok. And it's actually crazy how many more of them there are. If you guys want to see any more in the future, definitely comment below and let me know, because there are so many of these. I'm sure I could even do a series if I really wanted to. If you are an ambitious man looking to get smarter with your money and build long-term wealth, then this video is for you. I want to help you to understand and to provide financial insights and guidance on making better financial decisions, even if it's including car payments like this video. But if that's not you, my friends, no worries at all. I respect your time and I understand that this video may not be for you. And I only say this just because I don't want to waste your time. I just want it to be fully transparent. Of course, my friends, you're more than welcome to stick around if you're curious. Hello, my friends, my name is Vic. I'm a registered nurse and certified life coach turned personal finance strategist who helps men learn how to get smarter with their money and build long-term wealth with investing, and also have a passion for cryptocurrency as well. And if you're wondering why I can help you, my friends, perfect question, by the way. It's because I practice what I preach and I literally do it myself. Of course, I would never recommend anything to you. And additionally, I have studied long-term investing and cryptocurrency over the last 4 years anyway. And I'm consistently growing my own portfolio as well, while working full-time in the hospital, as well as growing my business. And if I didn't feel I can help you, my friends, I wouldn't be doing what I am currently doing. Because I do feel confident, that's why I'm doing it. Now let's start the video. Please subscribe and share.
A financed car is one of the biggest reasons why people in the UK are struggling financially. The average monthly car finance payment is nearly £400 a month. £400.
My friends, in this case, I think it will be a lot better if I visualize this for you to see what the actual opportunity cost would be of this £400 if you were to lease a car for, like, let's say on average, which the average term is around about 4 years in the UK, right? Or even if you were on a PCP plan, whatever it is, because you're still paying £400 for the car. So let's see what the opportunity cost of that is, meaning that if the £400 was actually invested into, let's say, index funds that generate an approximate return of 10% every single year, depending on which index fund you use, of course. And I know it's based on speculation, so it doesn't guarantee that 100% it will happen, right? But history tends to rhyme. Index funds generally tend to do really well. Even, for example, like the S&P 500, in the last 100 years, it's done an average of around 8 to 10% every single year. So it's done really, really well. At least for me personally, in my opinion, that is one of the safest and most reliable index funds that you can actually go to, just because of the entry requirements to actually get into the S&P, which I've done through hours of my own research. And I know it's actually a very good index fund, but I'm not recommending that you go into it and put your life savings, etc. This is just what I personally do, because I practice what I preach. So I would not talk to you about anything that I don't personally do. Now that we got that out of the way, my friends, let me show you what the opportunity cost would look like. Instead of putting the £400 towards a car, let's see what happens. So £400 every single month, right? We're going to do a 10% nominal rate of return, just because we're going to do the nominal rate of return, and I always prefer to do the nominal rate, which means it's the amount before adjusted for inflation. And the reason I prefer that compared to the real rate, which is after inflation, is just because that the actual cash balance that you have in your investment portfolio will be the nominal rate of return in the future. It won't be the real rate after adjusted for inflation. So let's assume 10%. And if we assume a 4-year term, right? So like I said, we're doing £400 every single month because that's what you would be paying for the car, right? The opportunity cost would be this, my friend. So £400, 10% rate of return for 4 years, which is the average term, and you're going to be putting the £400 every single year. You would potentially be missing out on £24,000. Obviously, that doesn't look like a big number, my friend, and it's actually not the biggest number. But that's because compound interest hasn't come into effect. The whole point of this, my friends, is because you've missed the chance to build. And what I always want to help you guys to do is to build long-term wealth. And this is part of the plan. This is the 4 years. Even if you just left the £24,000 in there, and if you removed everything else, there's no additional contribution. If you just left the £24,000, which is what you would have paid for now for the car, if you had invested that though, £24,000 after, let's assume you're 30 years old, right? And you retire in UK, the average retirement age is around about 68. So that's, and assuming you're 30 years old, that's going to be 38 years, right? This is where the problem is, my friend, because if you left that money and didn't even touch it, didn't add any additional investment, nothing, if you left that, by the time you retire, you would have over £1 million. And this is sort of the whole point, my friend, because for that purchase of the car, instead of you buying it, this is sort of what you're missing out on. Obviously, this is based on speculation. I'm not saying it's guaranteed going to happen. I hope it's opened your eyes, my friends, that actually this is really the opportunity cost of what you could be missing out on, because it's the actual amount that you are putting in to a materialistic good that's actually not going to appreciate compared to an actual investment which has the potential to generate you the financial comfort, peace of mind and freedom that you're looking for, especially in retirement, my friend, when you won't be able to work as hard as you are right now. And this is sort of the whole point. So I hope that makes sense, my friend. So let's get back to the video.
Now, every time I create a video on the subject, I get the same responses. I can't afford to buy a second-hand car. Second-hand cars aren't reliable. And you don't know my financial situation. You don't know what it's like. It's not easy. So let's work through them. Second-hand cars aren't reliable. What does your brand new car become as soon as you drive it? A second-hand car. Weirdly, you think it's a reliable car. Can you not see the flaw in this logic? The argument of not being able to afford a lump sum payment to buy a second-hand car is the one I probably understand the most. And there's no getting away from the fact that you're probably going to have to sacrifice a little bit to start with to get yourself out of this financing cycle. Maybe that means getting a shitter first car. Maybe it means trying to get more income so that you can put more aside to save up and then buy a car outright. And that £400 that you're putting towards a financed car or whatever it is that you're paying, you can then set that aside and put it towards an upgraded car. And there's nobody telling you when you can and can't do this. You can do it every year. You can do it every 6 months if you want to. And yes, finally, I do not know your financial situation. But what I do know, universally, the one thing that can change everybody's situation for the better is not having a car payment going out every single month so that you've got more money to spend on things that you need and want.
It's actually incredible that this guy says this, because everything that he has said was actually even something that I was thinking before, and I'm sure a lot of people think about when buying an actual car. Bless me. And a lot of people actually do PCP plans on new cars as well, just because they're new. My friend, if you actually did it on an approved used car, even a year or 2 or 3 years before, it's still literally very good quality and you'll get it significantly less. And if you wanted to do a PCP plan on it, you can, and it will be significantly cheaper every single month. If you really want to do that plan, it will be significantly cheaper. Honestly, it'll save you hundreds of pounds every single month, not to mention on insurance and road tax, etc. And especially on repairs and maintenance. And then the other point that he mentions, my friends, is you either have to make more income or just sacrifice and get a shitter car. I mean, that is essentially the truth, because even with me, my second car that I got was literally a Volkswagen Golf 2007. We bought it, if I remember correctly, it was around about £2,000-ish, £2,200, something like this. It really wasn't much, but I had it for like a good 4 or 5 years till I recently got my new car, which I was able to afford very comfortably. But even before buying that car, I actually literally did the calculations myself to make sure it was absolutely fine, and I was more than comfortable being able to afford it. And I understand that it's quite hard for other people, because especially with the cost of living, I understand that they are sort of like, oh, I need a car, but I want to drive a car that I want. What's the best plan? PCP. Thing is, that is the case. But you just have to be able to sacrifice that. And any cars after, even between 5 to 10 years, they're really not that much, because after 5 years the car should literally depreciate by around 60% of its actual value when it was a new car. And the more years after 5 years, it depreciates even more. Do you know what I mean? Personally, I would always go for approved used cars. This is just my own personal opinion. I'm not recommending anything, but approved used cars always have some sort of warranty or some sort of deal, because this car that I've just got it through the actual garage, and I'm significantly happy with the services they're providing. I can really see a massive difference compared to my previous car, which I got with a private lender. Probably why it was so cheap as well. Even if it's not approved used, my friends, you can still get a used car and just make do for a few years. It should still be fine. Like I said, my second car, even from the private lender, for 5 years, it was absolutely fine. I only spent probably around about 1,500, 2,000 on repairs and maintenance, stuff like this, in the whole 5 years. So it really was not that bad. And during that period, you could save up to actually buy an actual car. That's better. But it is what it is, unfortunately. We have to make do with what we have.
How is everyone affording these nice cars? How do you all drive Mercedes, BMWs, Audis? Like, are those cars not expensive? The way I see so many people driving these luxury cars, and I really wonder, how are you affording it? Because are we not in a cost of living crisis? Listen, I do understand the different means of paying for cars, right? Obviously, you can finance, lease, PCP, all of these stuff, right? But to even do that is not cheap. Like, to lease a Mercedes is not cheap. Like, what, for a C-Class, you're looking at like, what, 3 bills a month maybe? And that's just in car payments. bills. That doesn't include your insurance, that doesn't include your petrol. But yet everyone can afford this. Something isn't adding up. Because not everyone is earning crazy amounts of money. Like what, the average salary in the UK is like what, 35k? Which comes to around just over 2 grand a month. Now you gotta take into account rent, council tax, gas, electricity, water, and even after all of that, everyone's able to afford 500, 600, 700 pounds worth of car expenses. To drive Mercedes and Audis and BMWs, something ain't adding up. Be honest, you guys are doing fraud.
My friends, I'm going to show you a very quick example, but just bear with me just a tiny bit, because if you can see right here, the average rent is what we need to know, because the average rent is around about £1,300 every single month in the UK. And on top of that, the average council tax is around £200 every single month, meaning that that is round about an average of £1,500 that you're literally just putting basically towards rent. That's excluding other utility bills like your gas, like your electricity, whatever other things you may have, right? Let me just show you this example now, because as this guy says, there's so many people that drive Mercedes, really nice Volkswagens, really nice BMWs, all of these sorts of things. You just literally turn your head left and right and you see it everywhere. It's so weird. And within this cost of living crisis, genuinely, it does not make any sense. Mercedes are one of the most expensive brands in the world, and I see so many Mercedes being driven around, even cars like this, right? With the average salary being 35 and some people even having 40, even £50,000 salaries, which are obviously fantastic salaries. Even with those salaries, let me just show you why in general buying this car is just a rip-off if you don't have good financial planning behind you anyway. And let's be honest, like most people, they're not good at saving. They don't really invest. They still finance and buy cars like these, which in my opinion is moronic and very, very stupid. So let me just show you why this is dumb, and what, not only that, how you can actually buy this for significantly cheaper, saving you literally thousands of pounds. Of course, not financial advice, my friends. I would say at this point, this is just common sense, but let me just share with you my wisdom and knowledge. As you can see, the condition is new. As you can see, these pictures look obviously very, very good. It's an insane car, right? Let's scroll down to this section. So the finance section. And obviously, when you look at this, it looks very good. Sorry, I had a technical error there. So let's just get back to what we were just saying and doing. So most people, like I say, they normally do the personal contract plan because this looks like a very, very good steal. And it does look like it. It is disguised behind it. But let me show you why actually this is the biggest waste of money you can possibly do. Because a car, in my opinion, is the biggest liability. Obviously, people buy houses and stuff, but at least with house you can invest. At least there's better ways you can actually make plans with that. Whereas with cars, they're literally the biggest depreciating liabilities that you can actually purchase in your lifetime, in my opinion. We got £1,000 here. Most people do £1,000, and the duration of this, let's say 60 months. As you can see, my friends, this will be £489 per month. And the thing is, in your head, you may be thinking, it's £489 for a car like this. You know, it's an absolute bargain. From my perspective, I mean, it's definitely not. I know some people will be thinking that. As you can see here, the representative APR, which is the annual percentage rate. And by the way, the annual percentage rate involves the fixed interest rate. So don't think that these two, you combine them together to make it. It's actually 4.9% is actually the overall real percentage and the overall real interest rate that you'll be paying on your amount of credit here, right? So with the representative APR and with the amount of credit, the total amount that you'll be paying at the end in regards to monthly payments, which is already calculated here, is actually £42,409. And then at the end, you still don't own the car anyway. And you have to do an optional purchase payment. Otherwise, in here, if you're in the UK, it will be known as a balloon payment, where you have to pay £12,000 and £12,050 here on top of the total amount payable to own the car. So you're paying that to rent. You're not even owning the car. Whereas if you really wanted to buy this car and you just bought it straight away, you would literally be 36,000. I mean, you would literally be saving almost £20,000. Because if you combine the total amount of interest plus the balloon payment, that's around about £54,000, right? So that's around £18,000 difference from here. Do you get what I mean, my friends? There's literally no point. And you don't have to commit to a 4 or 5 year period of consistent monthly payments, very big monthly payments, by the way, £489. That's, in my opinion, that's a lot. That's literally a quarter of the monthly disposable income for the average person, which is crazy. And that's just for a car. Whereas instead, my friends, let me just show you right here. If I go on this website here, the exact same thing, it's still an executive coupe. I made sure it's exactly like the same type, AMG, whatever. It's the same one. Literally £30,000, my friend. And the reason it's still a 74 plate, so meaning it was last year. We're in 2025 right now, so it's a year old and it's already depreciated and you've saved an additional £6,000. And for me, in my own opinion, it's always really good to buy the car 3 to 5 years from the current year currently. So right now, about 2020, 2021 will be, in my opinion, really good cars to buy because they're really good price. Plus, they still are very effective and there shouldn't really be any problems with them, and you'll be getting them for a very good price and you still have a decent car as well. And my friends, imagine with that £489 every single month here that you're paying, imagine even if you invested half of that towards a self-invested personal pension or towards a stocks and shares ISA into an accumulation fund, imagine how much money you're actually setting yourself up for the potential future. Obviously, this is based on speculation, and I'm not saying 100% it will happen, of course, but this is something, like I say, that I practice what I preach, and I personally do myself anyway. And even though it's based on speculation, it's been proven, my friends, that the stock market has always reached higher highs and higher lows as well. So it makes sense to invest in the long term and get started as soon as possible. Because instead of spending for this £500 on the car, even half of that, £250, you will be significantly setting yourself up very, very well for the long-term future, my friends. Because what you're doing is you're actually, in my opinion, compromising your future just to be able to drive a really nice car right now, when you can actually still drive a very nice car anyway right now, maybe not as nice as this, but still very nice nonetheless, and set yourself up very well for the future anyway. So to me, it's an absolute no-brainer, my friends.
How much does it cost to own an Audi R8 V10 in the United Kingdom? Picked this up about 4 weeks ago, so I thought this would be a perfect opportunity to break down how much it's actually cost me to own this for the last month. I'm lucky enough to have the carbon edition, so much of the interior is actually kitted out with different parts of carbon fiber. Even the spoiler is fully carbon. The total value of the vehicle is £100,000 broken up into 5 years of monthly installments to own at the end of the finance. The monthly cost of this car is exactly £1,750. The road tax would be the same depending on the car that you have, but it'd be the same person to person. That is £550 for the year. Then the insurance. This is the thing that is different for literally every person, but mine is £3,350 a year. Finally, we have the most inconsistent variable, which is the fuel consumption, how much you drive it. Personally, I spend £100 a week. A full tank is £95 from empty. Is it worth it? I think it's massively dependent on your monthly and yearly income. As a general rule of thumb, I've always used, if you're a car person, it's going to tick all these boxes for you. You shouldn't spend more than 10% of your monthly income. And because of the fact this car costs £2,470 per month just to drive it, that would mean I would have to earn over £24,700 per month or more to be able to drive this car. Do I regret it? Absolutely freaking not. Love driving it every single day.
Now, for those of you, my friends, that don't know Brandon Harding, otherwise known under his company name as Brandon Hardbody, he probably, in my opinion, has one of the best physiques I've ever seen in my life. And being a gym enthusiast myself as well, I have to take off my hat to him because honestly, it is absolutely exceptional, the physique that he's actually built. He's a very good looking guy as well. And honestly, he looks like a genuinely nice dude as well. I don't know him obviously personally. He may be a dickhead. I don't know. The only thing that I got really frustrated when I looked at this TikTok, my friends, is the fact that this car that he has, on average, every single month costs about £2,470, right? That's not actually why I'm a bit annoyed. What I'm annoyed is that technically that means he would be making approximately, under his rule of spending less than 10% of your disposable income, right? That means that he would be making around about 25k a month. Now, I'm going to show you a picture just here quickly. I took a bit of a deep dive under his company, Brandon Harding Limited. And as you can see, in 2023 and 2022, I couldn't actually see 2024 for some reason. But as you can see, he's consistently making some decent profits. His company is actually doing very, very well. It doesn't look like it's matching though the 25k a month. If you divided it, obviously he's making around about 15, 16k a month from this company. He may have other companies as well, maybe with other affiliate deals, etc., that may be pushing him up to that. He probably has a clothing line as well, etc. So I'm sure that he probably has other businesses as well. But the thing, my friends, that really gets me is that if you're making 25k, guys, I don't even think you understand, and I say this in the least cocky way I possibly can. If I was making 25k a month, you best believe that in the next 5 to 10 years, I will be in the top 1% of the wealthiest people in the UK. I'm telling you, and I'm not saying this in a cocky way, it's just That's what sort of bugs me. And I know it sounds super cocky, and it probably is, and that's okay. He can actually afford that car quite easily on his income, to be fair, so that's not even a problem. It just depends if he's investing or not, which I really hope he is. Because if he was, he'd 100%, like with that income, my friends, you'd absolutely be killing it. You don't even need that income, by the way, to be killing it. You can even kill it with even £4,000-5,000 income every single month, which I would say is exceptionally high anyway. But just with that income, it's absolutely crazy. And I think that's the only bit when I saw this, I must admit, I was very envious. And this is obviously what I want to be working up towards, an income like that, because that would obviously just be an absolute dream, because then I can actually do more about what I want with my money, although I know it's not necessary, but under my exceptional ego, I want to achieve this goal because I like to challenge myself. I wanted to show you this video to show you you could still have really nice cars, but it doesn't need to be that eccentric. And actually the rule of what he said, spending less than 10% of your monthly disposable income, I think is actually a very, very good thing. Unless, in my opinion, I would even take it one step further and I would say, don't bother spending anything on a car unless you can fully afford it outright, and then you don't have to worry about anything. You just have to think about the road tax and car insurance, and that's it. Obviously, you've got service charges and MOTs, etc. But again, you could build up a sum because it's only one event in the year, so you can actually save up like £1,000 or a couple £1,000 just in case, to be safe, for those service charges and MOTs that potentially will take a lump sum out of your back pocket. But nonetheless, my friends, I'm just hoping, like I say, that Brandon is investing, because honestly, like I said, with that amount of money, actually, I just hope he's putting it to good use. Because I sure as hell know that if I was making this much, I know exactly where to put it. Not even a question, I would be one of the wealthiest people in the UK. Because I know how to grow my money.
What can £300 per month get you on a PCP finance? £300 per month is probably one of our most common budgets when it comes to buying a new car. Firstly, we have one car which I think is incredible value for money, and it's the Range Rover Evoque. With 2k in on a 48-month PCP with 6,000 miles per year, you're at £325 per month. It's a lot of car for the money. These things have depreciated massively because of the insurance crisis, but they're not too bad to insure now, so definitely worth checking your insurance, and that's what you can get for the budget. Secondly, we have probably one of our best sellers, the Mercedes A-Class. This one is an A180D, and this is a premium, so you get the ambient lighting and the wide screens. With 1k in, this is only £306 per month. Lastly, we probably have our second most common car, the Mercedes CLA. This is a 200 AMG line, and it's only 1k in, £309 per month.
Okay, my friends, I think you already know what I'm going to say. We've already covered these points, and these car payment videos are actually giving me a massive headache now, because the hard thing is just how these people are trying to convince everyone that this is actually a good deal. And the thing is, I understand it's disguised as a good deal because it's only like a few £100s. Like, I get that. And you're thinking, oh my God, I could drive this CLA class and it's such a nice car for only £300 with even £1,000 down payment or £2,000 down payment. Oh, fantastic. Like, it's because psychologically it looks like you're paying £1,000, £2,000 down and you're getting this car. But because people aren't doing basic maths, literally not even C-grade maths, this is like D-grade maths, just to understand, just to see what's actually going to happen if you continue on, to actually understand that this is significantly more expensive because cars depreciate anyway. Instead of buying a car that's new now, just buy a car that's already 2-3 years old, even 4 years old if you can. The car looks very near enough similar to the cars that are currently new now. There's really barely any difference, and you get it literally for almost half the price. It's actually insane. And if you can actually buy the car outright fully, you'll actually be able to save more to build up your emergency fund of 3 to 6 months, my friends. And more importantly, be able to invest more on daily cost average every single month into investments that can actually grow your wealth, that can actually grow your money well. Obviously, I'm not guaranteeing anything. This is all based on speculation and stuff I do personally myself anyway, because I practice what I preach. If you want to learn more about this and get a free wealth analysis, which I'll personally do for you based on my own speculation, no financial advice, nothing like this, the link is down below, my friend. Check it out if you're interested, because I really want, genuinely, this whole channel is about really wanting to help men out as much as I can, to be able to provide you the educational insights and guidance for you to be able to become better with money and smarter with your money and learn to build long-term wealth, my friend. I know I do these reaction videos as a way to entertain you, but I'm hoping you're learning something from them. So if you are, please comment down below. And if there's anything you guys want or think I can improve on with these videos, please let me know again in the comments below, my friend. It would mean a lot. I don't want to see you struggle alone, my friend, or make costly mistakes that could literally set you back years financially. And I want to build a group, my friend, of men that actually hold each other accountable to build long-term wealth, because that's one of the key ingredients in actually building it. So I'm building an exceptionally affordable online community, my friend, for like-minded men that actually want this as well. And I'm building it from the ground up. So it's still very, very new. And if you guys can actually give me feedback on it, I'd greatly appreciate that. So thank you. And if any of what I just said sounds interesting to you, check out the link below, my friends, and I'll see you there. Otherwise, YouTube thinks you'll like these two videos that are shown over here. And I'll see you very shortly again, my friends.